It's actually, well, it's sort of funny.
That's my phone.
What's your phone? Fuck, what did I do with my phone?
I don't know you did it.
No, that's my phone, bro.
Oh, shit.
It's like, yo, I know I put it down because I know I had some things to
You
go
look
over.
like mine.
Yeah, the back, the case.
All right, we're back. It's episode, I think, 7.
7 of the new year.
Maybe 6. Who knows? But Happy New Year. It's been a minute since we've been here with you guys. The very few that watch, but
glad
we're
to be
growing.
back. Yeah.
Back with another episode, Trucks Over Strikes podcast. I'm your host, Dean. It's my partner, Craig. And yeah, kicking off the new year, new us, new you. 2024 seemed like it was a very bad year for people. Not just people, but businesses. Like
Yeah.
I've spoken to like people that have fairly large companies, and they said 2024 was bad, especially in the real estate market. And that leads into like our first topic today, which is mental health. 20% of individuals are suffering. And I think the majority of that 20%, if you take that 20% of the people, I would say 80% it's due to stress because of money. They're doing job cuts again.
Yep.
I think Facebook just cut like 5% of employees. I think Jack Daniels, I think that's what I said, don't quote me on that, but another 5%. So companies are cutting again. This reminds me of when COVID just started, when everybody was working from home or they couldn't work. And what was the first thing they did? They cut jobs.
Cut jobs, yep.
So to me, it's like cycles repeating again. Like, don't miss the signs, like, you know? It's like your job is not safe. Like, doesn't matter where you work. If money's not flowing in, they're not going to be able to pay you guys. But it's also, it could be an opportunity where it's like, hey, if companies are decreasing their bottom line, that means revenue is going to start to go up. So it may be a time for you to jump into the stock market after doing your research, of course, and seeing if it's a good buy right now. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
The important thing is, as you mentioned, is that when these things happen, and again, 20% of people, I guess just in Canada alone, which is, 1 in 5 people that will suffer from mental health. But the biggest thing is that when you mentioned that when we had COVID and people were working from home or people were losing their jobs, how many of those people could pivot? And then how many of those people actually went into further depression? And I think it's not talked about as much because there's several types of mental health, like in the depression, addiction, schizophrenia. There's a plethora of mental health issues or people are symptoms. And again, it's about how do people, get their life turned around, because no matter a situation that you're going through, especially with mental health, it's going to impact you in several different ways, especially when it comes to money. Because with COVID, a lot of people are like, okay, well, what am I going to do? If I lost my job, or i.e. I'm working from home, one thing is that, yes, a lot of people said, oh, I could save a lot of money. But then when you're locked at home and you were in the house for 8 hours, couldn't do anything, what did people do?
Shop.
They shopped. So again, that was another sign of mental health, because now you're thinking that, okay, I have to shop because I'm stuck in the house. And it's something that you didn't have to do. But again, social media, other things that you had a lot of time on your hands to do, which if you were working, you wouldn't, influence you to do different things, right? And i.e. marketing. That's why Amazon made a shitload of money.
What's crazy is the government said we're going to be giving you the tax break, but taxes are taxes. Like, taxes have to get paid regardless. Like, you taking away taxes is not going to be eliminated permanently. That's something. But if you're doing it just for like a 2-month period, like, what is that? That doesn't do nothing for you. So it's like you're still going to have your same bills. And the funny thing is, it's not even your bills that you're getting taxed on. It's the consumer purchases that you're making. Like, they did video game, food, but not all food has taxes. So it's like, okay, what are we really saving money on?
What are you saving money on?
So to me, it just seemed kind of funny for them to do that. And it's like, you're not really doing anything for anybody by doing that. And one thing that I did notice, there's a lot more therapists, especially on my feed, they're popping up. And people are not utilizing these guys. Like, they're there to help you. And especially when you have benefits with your job. Find out what your allotted amount is, and utilize these guys.
Have these
Like they're
conversations.
there to help you, but you want to sit there trying to figure life out on your own.
Yeah.
During COVID, I had a friend. I don't know why, but he was going through depression, and I can almost attribute that he wasn't going to seek help, and he ended up killing himself. And it's like, yo, you don't have to go do these things on your own. There's help out there.
Yeah.
It's like, even if it's a 1 hour, a free consultation, take it. You never know what's going to come from it, right? It's like, stop trying to do these things internally. It's the body knows, like, when you're going through something and you internalize it, it starts to show up in your body.
Yep.
So it's like, don't let your body get into that state. Stop it before it gets there. Because once your body starts to react to that stuff, it's very hard to get out of it. Like, imagine you're going through hardcore depression, or you're stressed out, and then you get a stroke. If you get a stroke, that's something very hard to come back. Like, you can't move your joints. It's like, it's dead at that point. Like, to try to recover back is very hard. My uncle went through that. Now he's in a wheelchair. He can barely talk. He can barely move his arm. It's like, he has those little moments where he could do a bit, but that's as far as it goes. And imagine being in that state, trying to get back to a thing. 10 times harder.
And I think a lot of people don't understand how stress can impact you mentally. And I think it just boils down to the education of it. A lot of people don't know the impacts of these symptoms when they're going through something. And you mentioned speaking to someone, seeking out help. These are the things, especially in our community, that's not talked about a lot. And again, the reason why we must have these discussions, because again, it has a direct correlation to how you manage your money. No ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah.
If you're stressed about money, that stress leads to diseases.
Yeah.
Because when you're stressed, your body stops, I don't know the chemical terms or whatever, but it stops producing whatever it does. And it just literally puts you at a state where it's not good. So it's like, I had this book, this guy wrote it, and financial stress is a form of, it's almost like a cancer. But people don't like to use that word cancer, but it's literally, it could lead to things that like are very dangerous for you. So if you're stressed, stress is the leading cause of death. When you really look at it. Because if you look at the root, you get a heart attack. Why did you get a heart attack? Because I was stressed. Why are you stressed? Because of money. So it's like, if you take it back to money, mind you, you're probably saying, yeah, that's why money is the root of all evil. No, money is not the root of all evil. It's, I don't even know how to quote it.
It's the people that use it. Money doesn't change.
Yeah, money doesn't change, but it's, there's something I quote in the Bible, I can't remember it, but it's not the root to all evil. It's the how the person uses it, whatever. But you can look it up in the Bible. But that's the leading cause of it. So it's like, you have to, when you go to the root of the problem and say, okay, I have a financial problem. What do? Seek a financial advisor. Start getting your money on track. Stop spending money. Budget. Even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you're living above, like, not even above your means, like, you don't even have enough to buy yourself like a little juice box or something. Budget, or say, okay, how can I make some extra money? What can I cut back on? Like, the biggest expense people have is living expense. If you have to downsize, do it. It's only going to be temporary. It helps you get out of your situation. Why pay $3,000 for a 5-bedroom house that you're renting? Why not just couch together with everybody in the house and say, you know what, let's go to a 2-bedroom. I'll sleep in the living room and just get the futon.
And it's so funny you say that. I had a conversation with an individual that I was basically speaking to them and saying that, listen, you say you want to move out of your mother's house, which is fine, or you had to move in because you had some financial issues, but that's the number one sacrifice that you made. So you make a sacrifice for the short term, so in the long term, you can stack your paper. So meaning that if you're able to couch or live somewhere that you don't have to pay $3,000 rent, you're maybe paying $1,000 or $800, use that additional income to put away, so when you're ready to move on, you can move on. A lot of people have too much pride and ego to even make that step. First of all, it's not even that they don't identify with it. They identify with it, but it's about the ego and the pride. Can I go back home? What's gonna happen if I go back home? What are my friends gonna think about me? What is my parents going to think? I'm back home. And these are the things that plague us in the community, because you know what you need to do, but you're not going to do it.
What I hear is I can't live with that person. It's like, it's not that long.
It's not, yeah.
It's temporary. Like, come on, you want that house? You've been dreaming about it for 10, 20 years now. Suck it up, Sally, and
Yeah.
just go do what you have to do.
Suck it up and do what you got to do, because it will change a lot of things. And again, when you set goals and you're budgeting and you're actually looking at the money that you're spending and saying to yourself, well, wow, why did I spend $100 this week? Those to me are the simple things, but it's not so simple to other people, because again, they don't have a good relationship. They're embarrassed about how much they make, how much they bring in, and they're just embarrassed about how they spend their money. But if we can get over those pitfalls, then we can have open dialogue and have conversations. So it's no longer 1 in 5 people, which is 20%, that are impacted by mental health. Because we talk about depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, but money is totally in there. It's in there because it's what everyone needs to survive. Whether you like it or not, you need money.
Yeah.
So it's just important that we have these open dialogues, we have these conversations, because if we don't, we're gonna have people continuing to, just fall short. And they're falling short because they don't know what they don't know. They're embarrassed. And when people can't speak to people, that's another thing. When you can't have open dialogue about a situation that may be, near and dear to your heart, or even a situation that you may be embarrassed about, that's when things start to pile up on you, because now you have that conversation and it may be too late, right? You're so far in the hole that you can't get out. So,
For the love of money is the root to all evils. That's what it is.
yeah, and that makes sense, because people say, "Oh my God, it's the money." No, the Benjamin Franklins don't change. Queen Elizabeth is not gonna come off the paper and say, "Oh my gosh, what are you spending your money on?"
Speaking of that, weren't they supposed to change it to Prince Charles or King Charles?
Yeah,
now?
King Charles. Yeah, and I don't know. I heard of it, but I haven't seen any new bills as of yet. But
surprising.
it is. We find that mental health is important, and between myself and Dean, we have resources that we tap into for mental health. Again, don't be shy, don't be modest, don't have a full ego and pride to say, "Hey, I'm not going to do it." We all suffer from something. Just have that. The first step is to have that open dialogue. Once you have that open dialogue, things become a little bit easier.
And if you're watching up until this point, just give us a subscribe to show us that you're enjoying the content. Also, if you're watching up until this point, put a chicken emoji in the comments. And don't write why you're putting it, just put it in there so that people can just see and wonder why there's a chicken emoji. All right? So future of work around side or skilled trades.
Yeah. So this, and we're gonna talk about it anyway, but I saw this most recently in the news, and they were talking about, the skills trade and what that could bring to a community. And I know a few skilled tradespeople that whether either doing plumbing, contracting, and it's a lucrative way of making money. For those who are maybe not, because I'm not hands-on. I'll just be straight up. I'm not hands-on. But I wish if I knew some of these things and how these things were being done, maybe I would have went to a skilled trade, because I think it's the only thing that I think AI can't. Well, can AI eventually take over, or can robots eventually take over people's jobs? Yes, but I just don't think we're there yet. I have a few friends that are plumbers, and I know they've gone to people's house and I've seen their invoice. I was like, someone paid you $1,500 for an hour? To do what? And again, the reason why I bring it up is that skill versus will. If you were able to redo things over, would you go into a skilled job?
Me personally, no. Only reason being, I'm not good with my hands either, and I just don't. It's a lot of, well, it all depends on the angle you take, right? But if it's me working for somebody, no. Hours could be long, pays good, but hours are long. Me starting up the business to it, maybe, but it's not something that excites me. So I personally wouldn't get into
And it's funny,
skill trade.
I wouldn't get into it either. However, um, if I were to go back, if I were to go back, I may have just thought differently about it. And again, I'm just like you. I'm not hands-on, and it's not something that piques my interest. However, I just think that when you are very skilled with your hands, I think it's a job that you can eventually make your own business, and or even if you work for someone, and or it's a job that takes longer to become obsolete. Because to me, are you going to get a robot to, are you going to get a robot to fix your toilet? Maybe not. You may want that human touch. I know I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for calling a company, they send a robot over, hey, fix my toilet. It's just something that I'm not comfortable with. But as I see more and more of the younger generation step up, and again, and if you're not a skilled person, there's still a lot of ways to make money. I'm just thinking from an option standpoint. If you're gonna jump into, because a lot of people do streaming, a lot of people do YouTube and all that stuff, and yes, those things may be a lot easier. However, it's just the options that are open, for our younger generation. And like I said, I know I know quite a few people that kind of go into that skilled trades, and it's very, very lucrative. And I think Humber College has, and I'm bigging up Humber. I mean, I get paid for this, but they have a very, very good, I think it's a skilled trade program, and I saw it online, and it had some numbers. Skilled trade, Humber College. And I don't even think that people even think about it anymore or do it anymore. Man, I saw it here. But anyway, Humber has a pretty good program, Humber College, and they're injecting a lot of money into the skills trades programming, and they're building facilities. I'm not sure if anybody has been around Humber, but Humber is doing a lot of what is it? I wouldn't say renovation, but a lot of building construction. Don't know where they're getting this influx or injection of money, but they seem to be the number one leaders when it comes to skilled trade programs and injecting the money into the skills trade. So it's just something, if, man, woman, boy, girl, if it's something that you want to do, it's always an option out there, especially if skilled trades pique your interest or you're good with your hands. It's something that, it's just another option that you can do. And again, because not everybody's going to be a streamer, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur, or not everybody is going to be able to think quick on their feet and say, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make money. So it's just something that I saw that I wanted to put out in the atmosphere, which I think it's important. Because if I would go back, I think I would, make myself like it. Just because it's something that I think it just becomes longer to obsolete. It becomes less and less obsolete. Yes, there's robots. Yes, as you can see, there's robots doing a million things, building houses, building buildings. But at the end of the day, I just think that there's options out there, and I think you should look at your options. So that's just that. But going into our next topic, and it's something that I saw today, which really, really piqued my interest, and I'm going to call them the Billionaires Club. Elon Musk, and is it Jeff Bezos? I think Elon Musk is worth $400 billion right now, which is a shitload of money. And now he has his influence. He has his influence into politics, makes him a very, very, very interesting man, but a dangerous man at the same time. And I was just looking at, okay, well, you know what? These guys are billionaires, and they have their multiple companies, but a lot of them are putting money into going to space. And I'm thinking, why space? and why is that so intriguing? Why is it they're putting a lot of money into that? And can their space companies be publicly traded? Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on, going to space and more or less investing into something like that?
They're looking years ahead, in my opinion, 100 years, where the population's getting bigger, the planet's not. So how do you sustain all these people and all the issues that's happening within the across the world?
Yeah.
So global warming, all these things happening, like the world is literally saying, I can't sustain all you guys. I heard something, I can't remember where I heard it, but it said that when things happen in the earth, Mother Nature takes over to correct itself.
Yeah.
And what's happening is we are the viruses on Earth. So Earth is doing whatever it is to like literally wash us away out of its system or whatever, because whatever reasons, right? This is just something I heard. I know it's weird, but the reason why they're thinking about space, it's like, hey, if we get overpopulated here, we can start life over there. So that's a whole another thing for them to do, right?
Yep.
It's like untapped territory. If I can get 100 billion people over here, like, to be honest, I don't know, what do you do with $4 billion? And when
400 billion.
And when he becomes a trillionaire, what do you do with that money? So if he has $1 trillion, that's literally saying, okay, I'll take $1 trillion and just go build on the moon, or where is it, on Mars.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, it takes me back to like the Jetsons. We never thought flying cars, but it's like, it's not even flying cars, it's rocket ships now. Yo, imagine saying, yo, I'm gonna go check my girl on Mars right now. Like, what?
I know, which is many, many moons away. No,
to me, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
So it's like, it's coming, but it's like, they don't go fast enough. But the moment they can get like, they get it faster, when that happens, I don't know. But this is me just thinking like the way these guys are thinking. It's like, create a rocket ship, and his rocket ships are reusable. That's the whole reason why he started his. It's like, why do these rocket ships, they're garbage after? So his is reusable. So, okay, take you back, come back down, use it again, go again. So it's like, it's all a thing. And now if you can grow crop on there, you start building things that people can live in. It's going to be domes. I don't even know if you can even get sunlight over there, but it's just going to be something interesting to see.
It's very interesting because when you think Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, these guys are visionaries. Like, I would love to sit down 10 minutes just to pick his brain. Like, how do you think so big?
Yeah.
Like, how do you think so big that you're like saying, you know what? And that's what I'm thinking too. They're eventually thinking that, yeah, I'm out of here.
Well, it's not how they think so big. They didn't lose their imagination. When you have your imagination, it runs wild. Like, we thought of the craziest things when we were kids until somebody said, no, that's not real. No, you can't do that. They don't take no for an answer, especially Elon. He thinks in terms of first principles thinking, which is whatever it is, they hear, they challenge it. It's like, why is that true? They bring it down to the absolute truth where it can't be yes or no. It's like, this is what it is.
What it is factual.
So once you have that information, now you can work your way up to come up with something new. And that's literally how he created the electric car.
The electric car, yeah.
It's like, oh, we have gas cars. We don't need electric, or it can't be done. Why can't it be done? How are cars operating off of gas? Why can't that be replaced by electricity? And lo and behold, here comes the electric car. Same thing with the rockets. Why can't we reuse these parts? It's like everything is down to the science. It's physics. It's like, that's what really moves the world around. Like, I never understood physics until I really understand why these guys are like, it's so detailed, but because it tells you what the very first increment or the very first spot is where everything starts. So when you go back to that, like even like how we were made, we start off as one molecule. We don't start off as two. And it's like, once you understand that, you understand everything up until that point. Because it's like, now you can just take the pieces of how people used to do it and just make your own version of it.
Yeah. And for me, I'm thinking, if these guys are so far ahead, it makes me believe that potentially we can, or they can actually go to a planet and start something on the planet.
They can, but I don't think they're going to be around for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody else is going to come along.
Someone's going to come along. but it's just his forward way of thinking. And a lot of people, like, he started PayPal, I think made $200 million,
Yep.
then went into something else, failed, and then came into Tesla.
Yeah.
So I think with him, his mind is just as a constant, okay, going. And again, he can't do it by himself. So what's really, really important is, again, for anybody out there who is wanting to build a dream, building a dream is just as important as building the right team. So imagine the people he had to bring together to say, hey, here's my vision, here's my idea, let's make it happen.
Plus, he has the money, so it's like.
Plus he has the money.
Yo, I got this. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
That's it.
And that's what's really, really crazy about him. It's like, yo, these two, like being, $400 billion, like that's what you're worth. That's crazy. How do you even spend that? You know what I mean? And again, and the reason why I say Elon is somewhat dangerous because he's now in the political realms. And I think Trump is very dangerous. And I think putting them together can be dangerous.
Him doing that is more of a strategic move because he's not the president. So, and if you don't know, it's not the president that moves the country. It's the people that back the president that moves the country. So it's the businesses. He has a business. They put him into a position, and now he can literally dangle Trump like a little puppet. Like, yo, bro, do this, do that. Like,
And that's the thing, and that's why I say it could be dangerous because depending on what he dangles in front of Trump, if it's the thing that makes Trump tick, then, and again, we all know that Trump has a huge following, and he speaks for the people that can't speak for themselves.
Yeah, he's trying to take us over. He wants us to be a 52nd state.
51st state.
Or first.
And at the end, we all know Canada's bigger than America itself. But again, can that happen?
It's bigger in terms of
size, mass, land mass, but
land
again,
mass,
people.
But we don't have nowhere. California out.
The state of California outweighs, yes. State of California. So that's without a doubt. But again, let us know how you feel about that. Can we be the 51st state? Does it make sense? How does that impact trade between us and America? You know what I mean? So again, and I think that's why Trump wants us to be the 51st state. So we're all in the same pot. Everything becomes cheaper at that point. But then who wins? Asia, Mexico?
I think we would benefit more because Asia's trying to do their thing over there with Russia. So us coming together with them could be a good thing. But I don't really get into politics like that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how that's going to work. And then, like I said, my second question, because we kind of were speaking into that, was would you invest into their companies when it comes to?
If it was publicly traded, both of them are private.
Yeah.
The only publicly traded one is with Richard Branson, and he has I forget what his is called, but that's the only one that's public. But his company is not doing the greatest. It's almost like the race at top, who's better? And right now, Elon's leading the race between him and Jeff, and then Richard's like third. Nobody really cares about him.
I know. That's so funny. No one really talks about him. He's just quietly there. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I haven't heard anything from Richard in a minute.
I almost feel like he's just doing it for like transportation purposes or just saying that I did it, but that's about it because there was a big hype. He's sending people to space, come back down. That was it. And then
that was it. Yeah.
But everybody's talking about Elon stuff more than anything. His what's it called? What's scary is all the satellites he owns in space.
Yeah, 72. I didn't even know that. 72 satellites?
No, 70%.
70, sorry, that's right, 70%, yes. Yeah, 70%. That is a huge percentage, and that's a lot of satellites.
It's like, but what makes it weird is how do you justify somebody saying, I'm putting my satellite here and you can't put your satellite?
How does exactly?
You don't own the space. Like, it's a free-for-all. Like, what gives you just like the jurisdiction to be like, you can't post your satellite there. Like, China, you can't have your satellite here. It's space. Nobody owns space. Like, that's what makes things really weird for me.
And when you think satellite, what comes to mind? What comes to mind when I think satellite is personal information and GPS. So these are things that companies can use to leverage what's out there, what you're listening to, what you're hearing, where you're going. Again, GPS knows where you're going. And these are things that can be tracked and used for marketing purposes to help understand the market and knowing how you spend.
Speaking on that topic, it's most definitely, to me, again, why do you need so much money? Like, how much more money can you make? But us as consumers, when we buy these things, it's like we're literally feeding into it. Like these glasses, for example.
I was gonna touch base on it, but
the moment I turn them on, and if I connect it the Wi-Fi, they can know where I am for whatever tracking.
Yeah.
But then it's the AI part. So it's like, oh, you can have Hey Meta on there, but it's like, and then, oh, if we can get your data, like they literally, it's like a sneak way of saying, oh, we're to update and no, it's so that they can keep track of you and know how you move and how to sell you later on stuff.
Exactly.
To make them more efficient. It's like, no, I paid for your product. That's why you got to be smart with what you do. And if you do buy these things, if you're seeing this trend, invest in that company.
So I was going to stop you right there because I know you didn't know that I was going to say this, but it's like you're reading my mind. And Wall Street Trapper was saying, buying stocks in public companies is how you get billionaires to make you money and build your wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
For me, I wish, this is one thing that I wish. There was somebody, or even Wall Street Trapper, Ian the investor, master investor, to teach me this stuff back in 2008. Because that's when I was real eager to learn about this stuff. I had all the money in the world, and it's like, what do I do? I don't know. And funny enough, I kid you not, Mark Zuckerberg is one of those guys, I like before even the Facebook movie, and Facebook came out, I said, that's going to be the next big thing. Bro, I seen Facebook, like I didn't understand public initial public offering, all this stuff. So when I bought into Facebook, I was trying to buy into Facebook, and then I just seen it shoot up. I was like, oh man, I missed it. I don't know what to do. Then Facebook came down. I was like, okay, but still not understanding the stock market.
Yeah.
But if I was taught at that time, I would have put so much money into Facebook right then and there, because I seen the vision, of Facebook before it had these glasses. It was doing the metaverse, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I see these things. Uber I seen before it dropped. Mind you, Uber's not doing the greatest. It's doing better now. Lyft, all these companies I see, and I was just like, man, like how do I get a piece of this? But not understanding it. Apple before it took off and then came back down. Like these things I see, but nobody to guide me on these things. And it's like if somebody gave me just that little, another
tidbit.
one, Netflix when it was the box, before it had streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these things, I'm like, damn, like these things are gonna be the next big thing. And the way I see Zuckerberg, because he was taking shots at Apple, he's gonna be like the next like Steve Jobs in a sense. He's innovating. He's always trying to do something different. And what makes it even better is he's young.
Yeah.
So he has longevity. So he just keeps playing the game. Like he has the biggest platform with the most amount of users. So it's like, yo, let me just keep doing this stuff. I'm gonna get bigger and better at the end of the day. So it's like, with this, I don't turn on that stuff because it's like, no, I'm not giving you free information. Why am I giving you, you're not paying me for this. You're not paying me enough. I paid for your product. No, it doesn't work that way. I pay for your product and you get my information. No, it doesn't work that way. So for me, it's like, okay, you know what? Let me buy into Facebook because in 5-10 years from now, that shit's gonna pop. That's gonna, like, God knows what this guy's gonna come up with next. He's just on a tipping point. It's like, what else could I come up with?
And the thing with that is that he's basically saying at this point that Apple is no longer being innovative. Like Apple is not coming out with.
They have nothing.
They have nothing. So look back, and I'm gonna kind of bring the correlation to at the time BlackBerry. Remember when everybody was on BlackBerry and BlackBerry did not
innovate.
They did not innovate, and then they got crushed by Apple when Apple came in. So that's basically what he's saying. It's like, yo, Apple, what are they offering you?
That, and I'm stamping it on this episode. You're gonna probably come back and watch this 5-10 years from now, but this is gonna get replaced by this. I guarantee you, because they're already doing it. It's like, oh, you can see the vision on there. You can talk to it. You can do all these things. It's coming. When it's coming, I don't know. But I bet you, watch. You're going to come back, watch this episode. Within the next 5 to 10 years, these are going to replace these. Guaranteed.
Because No, it's true because all you got to really do is that, again, they have the glasses that you could put the AirPods in or
Yeah.
the pods in. You listen to music. You're on the phone.
Audiobook.
Audiobook.
I didn't even know I can get calls on this. I don't even remember how I just answer the phone and I'm talking and I can hear it on the thing. I was like, what? What the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
That's crazy.
But boom, it's in my ears. So now
Yeah.
I can hear from here. It's in my ears. If I have the Meta thing on,
Yeah.
hey Meta, what's the weather today? It'll tell me. Hey Meta, what's that over there? It tells me. He already had the conference thingy where the vision is coming. Samsung also has one where it's the vision that's coming. Like, yo, the moment you can see stuff like this on the screen, it's a game changer.
It's a game changer. And it's so funny, like the partnership with Ray-Ban, it's so genius.
Yeah, because it's a stylish brand. If you try to do it himself,
exactly,
it would look ugly.
It would look ugly.
Look at what they already came out with. Apple came out with one. It looked futuristic, but it looked ugly.
Yeah, it looked ugly. No one's gonna want to wear that. Yeah.
Who wants to wear that big thing on your face? Like that's something you do at home, but to me, it's dumb anyways. Like, why do I want that? And it's like $3,000 for that. For what? Just to have this on my head and do whatever?
No.
The first version of that, I remember when it was your phone and you connect
did
that. That was cool, but then now to me it just seems corny.
It's corny.
Like,
you're not gonna walk around looking like that.
This is smart.
It's smart, yeah.
Because like I could just hit this. Like, you know, it was so cool. I was driving and I seen an accident. Boom, took a picture right there on the spot. Or if I just want to record something quick, I just hold down and I can talk for a minute. When they can get more memory in this and I can speak for an hour, it's perfect. Because now you're gonna. I honestly think you're gonna see content creators do a lot of points.
I was about to say that.
So now. I made one the other day. I was just like, I seen something, I just started talking about it, and then I wrote it, and then I was like, perfect, now I have a video. And that's going to be the next thing, point of view with these glasses. To me, like, they're just phenomenal.
Yeah, like I said, I was going to, when I saw them, you came in, and I was like, oh, those glasses, they look dope. Again, genius. They matched it with a brand that not only is stylish, but it has longevity. Ray-Ban has been around for a minute, right? So again, the know, like, and trust. Yep. People are gonna say Ray-Ban, okay, cool. I'm gonna smack it on my face, right? Would a designer, would Gucci or Prada? No, I don't think they would try that. But Ray-Ban, it's such a genius move.
Yep,
genius move.
Definitely. So that brings us to our checks or strikes of the week. And so my first one is paying the minimum payment on a credit card or waiting until you have enough to pay for what was used.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Is that a check or a strike? And we'll maybe just break it down because I'm a firm believer is if you don't have the money to pay your credit card, or let's just say you've used $300 on your credit card and you're like, nah, man, screw the minimum payment. I'm gonna wait till I can pay it in full. The one thing is, once you miss that minimum payment, it's going to impact you.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's going to impact you negatively.
It takes longer to get those points back.
And it takes longer for those to get those points. So word to the wise, pay the minimum payment, stay on course. And if you should have that money to pay it off, you pay it off, simple. Yeah. But keep paying it and pay it on time.
Next one, investing $10,000 that brings you a quarterly return, or put $10,000 into your saving and get a monthly return from bank's interest.
So right now, if I were to look at the bank, what's the approximate monthly interest on any bank? Let's just see.
I think 3% annually.
3% annually.
With a minimum of $4,000 in your account.
So again, and these are for the individuals that tend to be scared with the money. I'm going to put it in the bank. The bank is the safest place, and I'm going to put it there. It may be the safest place, but the only thing that you're really doing is you're making the bank somewhat richer over a period of time. When you dump your money into your savings and you're getting 3%, it's really, really nothing. The bank is the winner. The bank is using your money and using it, flipping it 4 to 10 times over and over and over. When you see your bank account, it's just a digital number.
Yep.
It's just a digital number. It may not really be there, but it's just showing you, hey, your money's there. Meanwhile, the bank is doing cartwheels.
Mind you, if we have a electric or shutdown of power, there goes your money. So you might want to invest in some physical assets.
And that's crazy because if you look at Usain Bolt, he lost 12.5 million, and he's still to this day trying to find out what happened to his money. $12.5 million US.
That's a burn.
How is he surviving? I don't know, but yeah, it's crazy. The next one, check or strike. Purchasing a cell phone outright at $1,000, or purchasing through a lease plan over a period of 2 years at a rental rate of $50 a month. What do we think, Dean?
I don't know where you got your numbers from, but it's actually cheaper if you do 2 years on
So
a
2 years
plan.
at what time? What? I put $50 out there, which is maybe I was a little bit overzealous.
It's more when you take the 24 months. But what plans are really essentially offering, they're offering it cheaper, and they say we'll sell it to you cheaper as long as you're on a 2-year contract. Many people think that being on a 2-year contract is a bad thing, but look at it this way. What plans do you have to switch providers anyways? You don't have plans.
There's only 2.
You might as well just stick with them, right?
Yeah.
The misconception is people think that, okay, if I pay $1,000 now, then the phone's mine. I'm not locked in, and I'm getting it cheaper in a sense. But you're really paying more for it because you're paying $1,000 plus tax right up front.
Right up front,
So that's $1,000 gone from your pocket.
Yeah.
Whereas, look at it this way. Well, let's just stick with $50. Like 50 bucks. But that $50, that's only $50 a month you're paying, opposed to paying $1,000
Up front, yeah.
So let's say you even do have that money. It's $50 a month. You take that $950 and put it into something. Now that money's making money, it kind of it offsets what you're paying for the monthly bill.
Exactly.
That's one way to look at it.
Yep.
The second thing is you can finance or lease your phone. Leasing is not the greatest, but either option that you choose, it's 0% interest. So why not take that option opposed to taking that $1,000 out of your pocket to do whatever? And most people, what do? They don't have the 1,000, so they're gonna use a credit card.
Yep.
So you're already losing because now you're paying interest on something that you want to own outright and not be on a contract for.
Yep.
So you just lost twice right now. They gave you the incentive. It's like, hey, just stick with us for 2 years. Where they're making their money is on the plan because they're not paying nothing for the plan. It's their service that they created to charge you.
Exactly.
They paid for the phone. They got it at a discount because they're buying in bulk. They're buying hundreds of thousands of phones. They're not going to sell it to them. Oh, the phone's worth $1,200, but you can sell it for $11. No, they're paying way cheaper than that.
Way cheaper, exactly.
So they can afford for you to get it at cost, just as long as you're on the plan.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to do. So if you really calculate the numbers, you're actually getting the phone cheaper if you do a 2-year plan. Because after the 2 years, the phone, if you finance, the phone's yours. So I called to verify because I know a guy that works in the store, and he said no. It's like if iPhone 16, they'll say okay, it's like $1,200 plus tax.
Yeah.
But if you go on a 2-year plan, we'll give it to you like $20 or $30 a month.
Yeah.
Which is cheaper than the thing. You're essentially getting it for like just around or less than half price. So that would be the smarter decision for you to make, opposed to saying, all right, let me just shell out $1,000 now and get the phone.
And when it boils down to it, like you mentioned, there's only really 2 providers.
Yeah.
It's Rogers or Bell. And by the time...
No, there's
Well,
Telus.
sorry, there's Telus, sorry. My
Also,
bad.
and the main parents is Roger
Yeah.
and Bell, but yeah.
And Telus and Bell are kind of like in bed at times. But again, when you look at that situation now and you say to yourself, when your 2 years is up, whether you finance it or lease, you're going to probably want something upgraded anyway. You're probably going to want something newer. So that at that time, you just leverage that. Okay, you want a new iPhone 16 or 20 or where it's going to be, you trade your phone in, go back on another 2 year because it ultimately is going to benefit you down the road.
Yeah, most definitely.
So
that brings us, do you have a whiteboard moment?
yeah, I do have a whiteboard moment.
Well, while you set it up, I'll talk about the book of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to set up the whiteboard, the WBM. I'm going to set it up.
So this book is 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. This book is a game changer. How world-class entrepreneurs achieve more by doing less. Some people say, like, how does that even make sense? And the concept of this book is whatever it is that you're doing, if you want to see massive results with less effort, do 10X. And how a lot of us think is, all right, if I want to make more money, I work more hours. That's 2x thinking. Where 2x, there's multiple solutions to, or multiple ways to help you achieve that goal of 2x. But when you think on the 10x level, there's not that many options for you to choose, and it challenges your thinking. It makes you think deeper. It's like, okay, how do I get this done? And you think in terms of a system versus saying, all right, let me just go out there and work more hours. So for example, if you wanted to make, let's say you make $1,000 and you want to make more money using the 2x version, the most you're going to be making is probably $2,000 because you're trading your time for money. But now, if that $1,000 you say, okay, how do I turn that into $10,000? There's not many ways for you to do that. So what you do is, or you start thinking of the ways or thinking how I can create a system to make 10 times the amount of money versus making only double the amount of money before. And when you can figure out a system for that, that system allows you to use less effort in order to achieve that goal. So this book is highly recommended for anybody that's looking to level up their life, their business. Get this book. And it's not just about business as well. Like, he talks about stuff that you can do for yourself, like living in abundance versus living in lack. So I definitely recommend this book. I'm more than halfway through this book. I can't put this book down for the life of me because just so much valuable information in it. So yeah, that's my moment. So Craig, you ready?
Yep. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We need some music for credit utilization. So this is going to be our white. Oh, I shouldn't say that right now, but.
Well, you can.
This is going to be our whiteboard moment. And this is a segment that, we usually speak about something that's important when it comes to financial literacy. And for this particular episode, we're going to just focus on credit utilization. A lot of people hear this term, but don't know exactly what it means or don't know how to leverage it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And when you think about credit utilization, if you really want to get a good understanding of what it is, it's really how much of your available credit you use. This is an important factor when determining your credit score. So they always say a good marker is to ensure if you have good credit utilization is that to keep your credit score steady, they recommend that let me rewind. They recommend that to ensure that your credit stays steady, that you stay below the 30% utilization mark when it comes to your credit utilization. And what that exactly means is, let's just say, for instance, I'll just use a number here. I'll use $10,000. So $10,000 you have right there, right? And let's just say your credit limit, which is typically, so if you have $10,000, a credit limit that you typically can use with that is 15%. So 15% of that is $1,500. If you're spending 1 month increases to $2,500, your utilization will still be solid overall at 25%. As I mentioned before, it's recommended to stay under 30%. So if your utilization ratio will still be solid overall at 25%, but if your spending suddenly increases to $5,000, it becomes 50%. So your utilization rate increases, therefore your score can decline because now you're using up over the amount of 30%. So let me come back on this side. I should be left-handed like Dean. It's kind of weird, but so 5,000, put it right here. And if you spend over the 50% mark, you're going to be well over the 30%. And as soon as you go over that 30%, that's when your utilization would be impacted. You'll be well over 30%. And when you are making huge purchases, such as maybe a house or a car, the banks look at utilization as an important key because when you're making a purchase for a house, it's a huge purchase. So if your utilization is over 30%, when they do that, what's the test they call?
Stress test?
When they do the stress test, they're going to say, well, you know what, if your utilization is over 30%, the likelihood of you being able to pay your mortgage is going to fall and it's going to decrease. Therefore, you're not going to be eligible for a loan. So just remember, when you're thinking credit utilization, it's the overall credit you have. And let's just say you have, like, again, $30,000 worth of overall credit. It's good to stay under that 30%. You stay under that 30%, it shows the bank that you're able to to leverage and utilize your money. And if you are going to purchase a home or make a big purchase, that's one of the things that they're going to look at. And again, if it's not below 30% and it's hovering over 35, 40%, it's going to be higher for you. It's going to be harder for you to make that purchase. And that's your whiteboard moment. Brought to you by Checks Over Strikes.
So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday. Same check time, same check channel. Checks Over Strikes. Peace.
Peace.